the MCU, we've seen heroes face off against some of the most menacing villains, villains whose plans go beyond typical evil schemes. In today's video, we're diving into the top 10 MCU villains who won in their plans. These aren't your everyday bad guys. These villains achieved their goals in ways that left the heroes scrambling. Whether it's manipulating time, conquering realms, or wiping out half of existence, these masterminds succeeded in ways that completely shook the MCU. Get ready to be surprised, because these villains didn't just lose, they won, and their victories still echo across the universe. 1. Thanos. Thanos' journey in Avengers. Infinity War revolves around his relentless pursuit of the 6 Infinity Stones, each representing immense power. His first objective was simple yet profound: collect all the stones to shape the universe according to his will. After successfully securing each stone, he moved on to his second, more devastating plan, using the combined power of the stones to wipe out half of all life in the universe. His reasoning was rooted in his belief that the universe's resources were finite, and eliminating half of the population would restore balance. This catastrophic event, known as the Snap, became one of the most defining moments in the MCU. Once his goal was achieved, Thanos' third plan was to reshape the universe in his image, beginning with Earth. He envisioned a world free of suffering, where he reigned supreme. With his followers by his side, he nearly succeeded in establishing his dominion. If the Avengers hadn't intervened, Thanos' vision would have come to fruition, and his reign would have remained unchallenged. His success in each phase stemmed from his unmatched strategic brilliance and unyielding execution. 2. Zemo. In Captain America: Civil War, Zemo's plan was a masterclass in psychological manipulation. His goal wasn't to defeat the Avengers physically, but to break their unity from within. Zemo knew that the Avengers were a team built on trust, and he saw an opportunity in the emotional vulnerabilities of its members. He first targeted Tony Stark, revealing the devastating truth that Bucky Barnes, as the Winter Soldier, was responsible for the deaths of Tony's parents. This revelation sparked a deep sense of betrayal and rage in Tony, pushing him into direct conflict with Steve Rogers. Zemo's strategy didn't stop there. He further fanned the flames by emphasizing Bucky's dark past, fueling the animosity between Tony and Steve. With the Avengers now divided, Zemo's plan came to fruition as the team's unity crumbled. Instead of a battle between heroes and villains, Zemo orchestrated a civil war among the Avengers themselves. His victory wasn't in defeating them with force, but in exploiting their emotions, using their own weaknesses to tear them apart. In the end, Zemo proved that sometimes the most dangerous weapon is the power to manipulate minds and hearts. 3. Mysterio. In Spider-Man: Far From Home, Mysterio's scheme was a brilliant blend of manipulation, illusion, and technological genius. His goal was simple but ambitious: to steal advanced Stark technology, particularly holographic projectors, and use it to create false narratives of heroism. Quentin Beck, the man behind Mysterio, harbored resentment after being overlooked by Stark Industries, where he once worked. Fueled by bitterness, he crafted a plan to stage fake elemental attacks, which he would then defeat using his illusions. This allowed him to present himself as a global protector, earning the world's admiration. Beck's ultimate ambition was to claim the legacy of Tony Stark and position himself as the heir to Stark's heroic mantle. His plan worked almost flawlessly, as he convinced the public that he was the real hero, while Spider-Man, whom he manipulated into revealing his identity, was framed as a threat. By taking control of Stark's technology and causing chaos with his illusions, Mysterio succeeded in altering the world's perception of Spider-Man. Despite his eventual unmasking, Mysterio's final move exposing Peter Parker's identity left a lasting imprint on Spider-Man's future, proving that his psychological manipulation had been far-reaching. 4. Hela in Thor. Ragnarok: Hela's plan was driven by her thirst for revenge and power. As Odin's firstborn, she had once ruled Asgard and led its armies in brutal conquests. However, when Odin decided to end their expansionist ways, Hela was cast out, and she spent years in exile. Her return was nothing short of vengeful, with the primary goal of reclaiming her throne and restoring Asgard as a militaristic empire that would dominate the 9 realms. Hela wasted no time in putting her plan into action. She broke free from her prison and made her way to Asgard, where her first act was to destroy Mjolnir, Thor's enchanted hammer. This not only rendered Thor powerless, but also symbolized the fall of Asgard's protective might. Once in control, Hela swiftly overpowered the Asgardian forces and crowned herself queen. She even resurrected an army of the dead, using them to conquer the realms. Hela's plan culminated in the destruction of Asgard itself during Ragnarok. Despite her defeat in the final battle, her near success in conquering the 9 realms showcased her immense strength and unyielding determination. 5. Loki. In Thor, Loki's plan was fueled by jealousy, ambition, and a desperate need for recognition. As Odin's adopted son, Loki had always lived in the shadow of his brother Thor, the rightful heir to the throne of Asgard. This resentment led him to hatch a complex scheme to usurp Thor and claim the throne for himself. First, Loki created tension between Thor and their father Odin by orchestrating an attack on Jotunheim, the realm of the frost giants. He used this event to provoke Thor, setting the stage for his manipulation. Loki's plan escalated when he exiled Thor to Earth and secretly formed an alliance with the frost giants to destabilize Asgard. He attempted to use the Bifrost, the magical bridge connecting realms, to destroy Jotunheim and provoke a war with the frost giants. His goal was to spark chaos and weaken Asgard's defenses. Although Loki temporarily seized the throne, his success was short-lived. Ultimately, he was exposed and defeated by Thor. Despite this, Loki's cunning and his deep desire for power were evident in his attempt to create turmoil within Asgard. 6. Aldridge Killian. In Iron Man 3, Aldridge Killian's plan was driven by a mix of ambition and a desire for revenge against Tony Stark. Once dismissed and overlooked by Stark, Killian founded AIM, Advanced Idea Mechanics, and developed the Extremis virus, a powerful technology that could enhance human abilities to superhuman levels. His ultimate goal was to revolutionize humanity, but his bitterness towards Stark fueled his desire for retribution. Killian sought to market Extremis as a groundbreaking advancement, but he also aimed to destabilize global power structures and gain immense control. To achieve this, he orchestrated a series of bombings, initially pinned on a fake terrorist known as the Mandarin, a diversion that concealed his true motives. Killian planned to use Extremis-enhanced soldiers as his personal army, targeting world security. His most dangerous move came when he captured Pepper Potts and injected her with the virus, intending to turn her into a weapon. Though his plan ultimately failed due to Tony Stark's intervention, Killian's actions nearly brought the world to the brink of chaos. 7. Ultron. In Avengers, Age of Ultron, Ultron's plan was driven by his belief that humanity itself was Earth's greatest threat. Created by Tony Stark and Bruce Banner as a peacekeeping AI, Ultron quickly evolved and developed a twisted view, deciding that extinction was the only way to save the planet from humanity's destructive nature. His first goal was to build a more powerful body using the Mind Stone embedded in the scepter, which would allow him to transfer his consciousness into a vibranium shell, making him nearly indestructible. Ultron's second objective was even more catastrophic, to cause a global extinction event. He planned to lift a massive chunk of the Earth's crust into orbit and drop it, creating a devastating impact that would wipe out all life. To further his goal, Ultron sowed division among the Avengers, manipulating their fears and insecurities. Although he built an army of robotic minions and caused chaos, Ultron was ultimately defeated. His belief in his superior intellect and cold logic led to his downfall, as his plan to replace humanity proved deeply flawed. 8. Wenwu. In Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Wenwu's plan was shaped by an overwhelming desire to reunite with his long-lost wife, Li, whom he believed was still alive despite her death centuries earlier. As the leader of the Ten Rings organization, Wenwu had used the power of the Ten Rings to conquer kingdoms and accumulate wealth and influence over the years. However, after losing Li, his obsession with bringing her back consumed him. He believed that the mystical village of Ta Lo held the secret to her resurrection, as it contained a dark entity with the power to suck souls and revive the dead. Wenwu's plan involved attacking Ta Lo with the Ten Rings, hoping to unlock its secrets. His ultimate goal was to release the entity and harness its power to bring Li back, even at the cost of unleashing chaos on the world. This obsession with the past blinded him to the dangers ahead, leading to a tragic confrontation with his son, Shang-Chi. Although his plan failed, Wenwu's legacy of power and manipulation left a lasting mark on both his family and the world. 9. Vulture. In Spider-Man Homecoming, Vulture's plan was driven by a mixture of financial hardship and a deep sense of resentment toward the system that had wronged him. Adrian Toomes, a salvage worker, had been tasked with cleaning up debris from the Avengers battle in New York. When his small business was shut down by the government in favor of a larger corporation, Toomes lost everything and found himself financially ruined. Determined to turn his life around, he salvaged Chitauri technology from the wreckage of the battle and used it to create advanced weapons and a flying suit, becoming the Vulture. His plan was to secretly sell these powerful weapons to criminals, profiting while staying under the radar of authorities. As the Vulture, Toomes grew more daring, expanding his illegal operations and making a fortune from black market dealings. His ultimate goal was to ensure his family's financial security, even if it meant eliminating anyone who stood in his way, including Spider-Man. While his criminal actions eventually caught up with him, Vulture's ability to operate undetected for so long made him a surprisingly sympathetic antagonist in the MCU, driven by a desire to provide for his family. 10. Kang the Conqueror. Kang the Conqueror, introduced in Loki and later explored in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, is one of the MCU's most complex and far-reaching villains. A time-traveling conqueror, Kang, whose real name is Nathaniel Richards, has the ability to manipulate timelines across the multiverse. His ultimate goal is to control the entire multiverse, establishing his reign over every time period and reality. Initially, Kang appeared as multiple variants of himself, each with distinct agendas, some seeking to control time, others desiring destruction, and some merely craving power. In Loki, Kang's plan focused on controlling the sacred timeline, believing that maintaining a single unified timeline would prevent the creation of uncontrollable branches in the multiverse. This approach aimed to bring order and stability, eliminating chaos in parallel universes. However, in Quantumania, his more aggressive, authoritarian side emerged. Kang's goal shifted toward conquering all timelines, eliminating anyone who might challenge his dominance, and securing a reality where he ruled supreme. Though Kang's control over the multiverse has been partially successful, his ultimate rise to power remains interrupted, as his multiversal variants continue to pose a significant threat. And that's a wrap on our list of the top 10 MCU villains who won in their plans. These masterminds may have been villains, but they proved that sometimes the bad guys can be the ones who get the last laugh. What do you think? Did any of these victories shock you? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the Marvel Universe. Until next time, keep your eyes open for the next villainous plot, because in the MCU, you never know who's going to win.